Hello everybody, Christian from Treasure Town here, and today we're going to be speaking about the top 8 Franklin half-dollar double die varieties. Now there's also going to be some treatment of the Goiter and Scarface varieties, and we'll talk briefly about the Bugs Bunny, but that's going to be a separate video in terms of Bugs Bunny as well as any repunched mint mark Franklin halves. This is the full list of what can be certified at PCGS and NGC, but we'll have clear photos along with me talking through it and explaining the values based off of different conditions. So I'm really excited to get into the presentation and tell you everything you'd need to know here. So just a reminder before we go over these that the double dies have not been struck twice, but instead it was doubling during the process that's used to create the dies that then strike the coins, so the doubling will be the same on each of them. We're not going to go into all the die clash varieties, but that's when the obverse and the reverse dies strike each other without a planchet or the metal that gets formed into a coin between it, and then the design from the back gets imprinted on the front, and it has like these little teeth, or it's like a Bugs Bunny, but basically coming out of the nose from the wings of the small eagle on the reverse. But the double dies will start with the 1948 double die reverse. This one is not super strong, but there's some nice doubling underside of the E. You can see a little bit in the B and the U as well as a little bit of notching in the M. So it's sort of all over the E pluribus unum, which is a major focal point for where to look for these. The values listed here below. So $40 is the non-full bell lines mint state 63, whereas 75 is with the full bell lines. I'll have a different video that explains the intricacies of what full bell lines really is, but it's going to be the unbroken full bell lines on the reverse of the coin, the three bottom ones, at least at PCGS. Some major upside in mint state 67 here. You should be checking any coin that you see, even if it's graded, because a lot of people forget to look for some of these relatively minor varieties. It's not like a really drastic one. Again, here 1948D, again $12,000 for mint state 67 full bell lines. Strong though, in $175 mint state 65. You can see on the underside of the E and the P and the R all through the E pluribus unum. Again, on the bottom of the letter is really where you're going to be able to see the strongest spread. Now 1951S has a nice double die reverse again on the E pluribus unum, but I think it's a little bit better, just in the sense that it's super strong notching, clear separation in the sort of northwest portions of all of the tops of the lettering. Really nice sort of visual appeal to it, and clearer than something like this where you're just sort of looking for a little bit of shelving along the bottom. Here it's these strong notches. I really like how the unum looks, and the values are not insane. If you want to get one of these in like a mint state 63, it's actually pretty acquirable. 1952, it's a Scarface, so this is not a double die, but I think it's just some die cracks that have sort of run and formed along Franklin's face, and this one people pay up for, $120 in AU 55, mint state 63, several $100s, and nice upside for mint state 65 full bell lines. But the crack can sometimes appear sort of more dramatic than this, where it's really just strong all throughout the face, but certainly one to be looking for that people might just think is like a little bit of a problem or a scratch even, but these are die cracks formed by the dies and then appear a lot of other places. Here is the Goiter variety, and this one is also a favorite of enthusiasts. It's a die break. A little bit breaks off here, and then the metal sort of forms underneath Franklin's chin. It's on the 1959 P, mint state 63, $125, $200 for the full bell lines. Not a huge boost, but to $250 in mint state 65 doubles with the full bell line designation. And yeah, it's sort of the most well-known die break, whereas here most well-known die crack, that each have their own special names. And then 1959, there's also a double die reverse coin. You can see, it's not super strong, but you can also, the P starts to dig into the L a little bit with that extra thickness, and then a little bit as well on the outsides of the E, and then going down into the U. Not really clear like some of the other ones are, and I like the ones where the shelving's super strong, but here, apparently it was one of the first that was found, or the first that was well known. On this Franklin variety series, there's not a huge amount of them compared to something like the Washington quarters that were going on at the same time, but a nice one to be reminded of. And then we also have the 1960. This one's only certifiable at NGC, but it's a double die obverse. If I was going to be looking, it is found on the truss. This photo doesn't really show it super well, but you can see a little bit on the inside of the 0 and the 6, some slight bit of doubling, but something that you want to just keep an eye out for. This one's not in the Cherry Picker's Guide. It's certified by NGC again. Also, Kaneka recognizes it as their 5th double die obverse. And then there's also the possibly more well-known double die reverse on the 1963 half dollar. The doubling is going to be best seen again in that E pluribus unum along the right side of the letters. A little bit of notching, a little bit of separation, but again, not as much as I sometimes like to have on the varieties that I collect. One thing, there's also some die scratches that are really prominent, running from the E, or the D to the E really, and then the E at the top of it running into the T. So they sort of connect, and that's something that you can use as an additional marker. But that brings us to the end of this video. A lot of pretty interesting varieties. Not all of them are super apparent, and a lot of them might be overlooked. So there's some good room for you to come in, enjoy these varieties, possibly from a collecting standpoint. And also the cherry picking aspect is fun to be a part of. Best of luck finding them or completing your collection. Thanks for watching the video. I'd encourage you to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel to stay updated. I've also got Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, so you can follow me there. TreasuretownYT.com is the main channel website. Definitely give that a visit. I've got a lot of information about me up there and the channel. CoinGrabBag.com as well currently redirects there, but it's some good opportunities for very fair grab bags, both made by me and other sellers. A lot of different options, so that's a good way to support. There's also TreasuretownCoins.com. In the future, my coin dealing operation will be done out of that website. CoinMeltPrice.com for updates on the melt prices of your coins, both US and world. A lot of resources in that website. And then CoinsMetalsCards.com being developed right now as a marketplace and news source for coins, metals, cards, and collectibles in general. So I'll see you on my future videos. Looking forward to seeing you there, and hope you have a good day.